Okay, we're going to look at the floor mat station. Love using the floor mats as a part of a station. There's so much you can do with the kids. Let's look at some of the beginner activities that we can do. First of all, we got the sausage roll. Okay, so all we want is holding the body nice and straight, staying straight, rolling. Okay, so that's the sausage roll. The goal is to keep the legs together and just basically hold the body strong and straight. What you can do to make it more fun, grab a beanbag, get them to put the beanbag between their knees, so they've got to squeeze their legs and hold their legs together and try not to drop the beanbag. That's the sausage roll. The next roll we could do would be the egg roll. So this time we're on our knees. Egg roll. So we're learning the tuck shape, holding our body in a ball shape, holding that nice tight shape. Another roll we could do is the teddy bear roll. So teddy bear roll, we're in straddle, rolling round and straddle. Okay, we can go the other way. Basically, we're learning to roll in all directions, keeping it fun. The shoulder balance, we're practicing the roll to stand up here. A lot of children struggle standing up without using their hands. So this one, we want to go straight body. We want to roll back into the shoulder balance, roll forwards, and come up. Really good idea, tennis ball in each hand. That way they can't put their hands on the mat when they stand up. So if they're holding tennis balls in each hand, keep the balls over their head, keep hold of the balls, keep hold of the balls as they come up. So a common mistake is children will kick their legs out, they'll stop, they'll use their hands, they'll climb up sideways. And what we're wanting them to do is to hold their tuck shape, rock, and come straight up to their feet. So another one that we could do would just simply be rocking and tuck. Holding the tuck 3 times and trying to stand up. Okay, so rolling, really good beginner activities. We've got the sausage roll, the egg roll, the teddy bear roll, we've got the shoulder balance roll to stand up. They're 4 really fun ones you can do with the kids. Let's move on to the beginner level handstand. Okay, we're thinking 5 and 6-year-olds, even older, they've never tried a handstand in their life before. So what we want to do is we want them to make sure they can get their hands flat on the mat, keeping their hands straight. We're going to put one leg in the air. 1, 2, 3. We're going to ask them to 3 times try and push and join their legs together. We call that the one-legged donkey kick. Because like a donkey, they're kicking their feet up and they're doing it off one leg. Really good way to get the handstand started off at that beginner stage. Okay, they've mastered the sausage roll. They can stay straight, rolling in both directions now. Let's make it a little bit more difficult for them. This time we've got to keep our shoulders and our legs off the mat. So we're going to move through that dish and that arch position. So this time they're really engaging their back and their stomach muscles. So, full circle one way, back the other way. We might want to make it even harder and really get them engaging those stomach muscles. At the end of the roll, we're going to add a tuck or a V-snap. So this time we're going to go from dish, arch, dish, and then we're going to do a V-snap. Try and touch our toes and then come back. If that one's a little bit difficult, we might start with the tuck. Tuck, snap, and back. So there are ways we can progress the movements and engage those muscles. Okay, so the children they've mastered the one-legged donkey kick now. They can keep their hands strong and they can get a good kick and land back on their feet with lots of control. We're ready to move them into the next stage. This time we're going to get the full handstand. So we're going to start with a straight body and we're going to hold that nice straight body. We're going to take a long, slow, lunging step. We're going to place our hands down and we're going to switch legs. And we're going to repeat that. Step, scissor switch. Step and switch. Okay, we can call that one the scissor handstand because we're switching legs, trying to keep them straight, and again, keep that control so we're not just kicking straight over the top out of control. We want to be able to press on our hands and land back on our feet again. Okay, next progression. We've got the one-legged donkey kick handstand. We've got the scissor handstand. This time we're going to show them how to do a full handstand, but how to fall out of the handstand if they're doing them on the hard mats on the floor, which is a bit different to how we're going to fall out of it on a soft mat. So this is probably really key before you let them do the full handstand. We want to learn how to fall over the top and twist and land on our feet. So we're going to go nice straight body, always starting feet together, strong like a pencil. We're going to do that long giant step. We're going to place our hands down and kick, trying to get those legs to vertical. Okay, so this is the stage where they might kick too hard and we want them to know how to step out and land safely. So I'm going to demonstrate. Okay, I kicked too hard, I went over the top, I need to twist, step down onto my foot. So key demonstrations when you're showing the handstand activity, we're learning how to go over the top and fall out safely. Straight body, long lunge, push, adjust the hand, take the step, land on your feet. What we don't want to see is kick over the top, flat onto our back. Very easy to wind ourselves on these mats. And children will, if they can't control their bodies, that will happen quite easily. If we want to use some beanbags or tennis balls to help us with our rolling activities, so we can hold the beanbag between our knees. When we're trying to do our sausage rolls, keep the beanbag still. Or we can hold the beanbags over our head. That way we can't use our hands and we remember to keep our arms up. Okay, so for beginners, we've got rolling and handstands are our main focus for the beginner program. Intermediate program, cartwheel is the main focus. So we're really looking at, now they can do a nice handstand, moving them into that cartwheel. So hand and footprints are really good for beginners. So it might just show them, help them know where to put their hands. So we won't go in a straight line to start with, we're making a bit of a curve, a semicircle. So we've got a bit of a start position going on. We can come down low if we're new to it. We're going to get our hands on the marker. We might have little foot positions to show them where their feet can go to. So down nice and low. Just learning how to move from side to side. And that's probably what it will look like for a beginner cartwheeler. Moving on, they're starting to get the hang of the coordination. The next step will be, we want a nice straight line now. So you might have a tape mark running down the middle of your mats, showing them to put their feet on and their hands. So this time we want to start with a nice strong star position, and we want to swing our legs over the top. The landing, really important. We want a nice strong landing, straight legs, strong arms, so we can make it a bit of a game. If you can keep your feet still for 3 seconds, you get 1 point, and you're seeing how many points you can get. They will figure out, they need to figure out which is their favourite leg to cartwheel, which they might not know at first. So we've got a strong star shape. We're going to swing the arms over the top. Arms are up high in that star shape at the end. So we want to encourage the arms coming up, reaching off the mat. Hands on the mat are just flat. Obviously, thumbs tucked in, straight flat hands on the mat. We also want to have them going in both directions because we need to figure out which is their good leg cartwheel. So the leg you would kick a football with or the hand you would write with, that's normally your preferred leg. So for me, that's my right leg. So I'm going to do my star right leg cartwheels. Much easier for me. But we want them to come back and be able to cartwheel on both legs. So now we've got to figure out going back in the other direction. So a fun little game to play would be try and trick the coach. You do your cartwheel on both legs and the coach has to try and decide which is your good leg. But the cartwheels are so good they can't tell the difference. That's the stage we want to get it to. And children at the start, they might be great on one leg, but then they'll go to do it on their other leg and they just can't figure it out. So it's always left foot, left hand, right foot. There should be a rhythm in the cartwheel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand, foot. So a nice rhythm for the cartwheel. The legs should swing up high, as if there was a wall either side. They wouldn't kick the wall. Their legs are going up to the ceiling, over the top. If they get a nice big lunge at the start and a good push, that's going to help them kick their leg. Obviously, if they're good at their flexibility and they've got a nice straddle position, they can hold their legs nice and wide, that's going to help them too. So encouraging them to practice their stretches is going to help with their cartwheels. Moving on, they've mastered the side cartwheel. They can do their side cartwheel on both legs now, and they can land with straight legs without moving at the end. Next cartwheel we're going to move into the step in. So this time we're changing it. We're going to start forwards now. In the forwards position, we're going to take a long step into the cartwheel. And we're going to finish with the feet together, stepping in at the end, facing the direction we've just come from. So for that cartwheel, they need to turn their hips in the air. So they physically turn their hips so they're facing the other way. And their starting position, they're not sideways anymore. We want to see them start forwards and hold that forwards position. They only twist just before they put their hands on the mat. And again, the hands can just stay flat and straight for now. If there was a line, you'd want them to try and stay on the line. So their hands and their feet perfectly straight on the line with that strong finish. On the heels, not on the toes. Hands can be down, looking at the feet, with that nice round back shape, or arms can just be up strong and straight. Either one, doesn't matter. Arms down helps you keep your balance a little bit more at the early stages. So, nice high lift and tip. Strong finish. So to master that one, we should be able to keep it nice and straight on the line, and again, land nice and solid without moving around. Another cartwheel to do would be one-handed. They can do that from the side position. They can do it from the forward position. Either way, doesn't matter. But you don't want the hand on the hip. None of this, none of this. The arm just stays stretched out to the side. To encourage the push off the front leg, we can do the cartwheel from the kneeling position. So we're going to start on our knees because we want to get a strong push off that leg. We're going to go into the cartwheel. We might do a side finish. We're starting to move on to the more advanced stage of the cartwheel now. And we can try a switch leg. This is encouraging us to get those legs together ready to do the round off skill. So a cartwheel switch leg. I'm going to start on my right leg. I'm going to finish on my right leg. So long step. I changed legs in the air, came back on my right leg. Watch again. called a lunge. So that's cartwheel to lunge finish, which is probably the easiest when you're doing a switch leg. If they can get a switch leg, they're landing the cartwheel step in nicely. They can do one-handed cartwheels, they can cartwheel nicely from kneeling. They're pretty much ready to do the round off. And the round off is a cartwheel that lands with 2 feet together. The round offs, we want to focus on the big soft mat. We don't want to overload with lots of round off work down here. And here is where we get the cartwheels looking really good with the stuck landings. Also connecting the cartwheels. To connect 2 cartwheels, you've got to be able to finish your first cartwheel balancing on one leg. So you've got to have such good control, you come out of the cartwheel on the one leg, and then keep it moving into the next cartwheel. So connecting 2 cartwheels, that's another good one. You might also want to add a gallop, just to make the connection easier at the start. So it might be that you do a cartwheel and you gallop. Other way. So you're learning to move out of the cartwheel. That is pretty much the intermediate program. You are focusing on all those different cartwheel skills and really emphasizing stuck landings, strong at the end. Good luck. Okay, let's move into what can the advanced kids do on the floor mats. They're already doing front handsprings, maybe back handsprings and front flips. What can they do that's going to help with their skills down here? Getting the handstand and the movement on the hands is really good for the advanced kids, and it's challenging for them. So you've got the beginner kids doing their basic skills. They don't want to do the basics, they want something that's going to challenge them as well. A really good one for me is focusing on the handstand, where they can actually learn how to balance on their hands, which is a bit of an art. So for advanced kids, I might say, your goal is to get in your handstand, walk on your hands to the end mat. But the rule is it has to be legs together in the handstand. If your legs aren't together, you're not to walk on your hands. So it would look like this, legs together. I didn't quite make it, I got to the 3rd mat. What a lot of them will do, they'll let their legs come apart, they'll try and do this. No, it's got to be a proper handstand. It's got to show that straight body before they start walking. Handstand walking on the mat. Let me know when you've got to the 4th mat and you've achieved that challenge. Let me know. Someone puts their hands up. Coach, I've made it. I can walk to the end mat. Great. Your next challenge is you're going to do it backwards. So this time they've got their handstand. I didn't get very far. Backwards. Some of them might be good on their hands. That's a good challenge for them. Again, sideways. So we are challenging them to shuffle on their hands, hold that balance shape. If you don't have so many mats, it can be circular. So your challenge is to do a full circle without coming down. Lots of handstand work, handstand walking. Another good one for the advanced kids, just looking at their shoulder flexibility. So handstand TikToks, they could do their split handstand, into bridge and kick back. I can't do that, but it would be split position, over to the bridge, kick back again. And that's probably your 2 main focuses for the advanced kids. Getting their handstand walking, checking their shoulder flexibility with some TikToks. With the advanced kids on the floor mats, you can also go into a lot more detail, coaching detail with them about their hand positions and how they should enter and exit their harder tumble skills. So if we just use the cartwheel step in, for example, we could introduce the T-shaped hands. We're probably not going to do this with the little ones. This is only when they get to the more advanced stage. But we want their second hand pointing towards their first hand in a T position. So as they travel over that hand, they can push off it and get some thrust. If their hand is pointing in the wrong direction, they're going to overstretch and damage their wrists. So again, a common mistake kids make, their hands are twisted, all different positions. We want their hands flat on the mat and straight. For the advanced kids in their cartwheel, they can start making that T position. So I'll show you what that looks like. You might have seen the push of the hands at the end. So it might be them simply doing the cartwheel step in, but they're going to demonstrate T position with their hands. Also, let's look at the start phase. The start phase and the hurdle step. So it's the hop and the swing. Okay, so we're introducing the hurdle step. As we hop, the arms swing up to the fully open position, and the hop isn't to go high, but it's to drive forwards long into that lunge. So your end shape out of the hop, you want to see a long lunge position like this. You don't want to see this position with the head out or twisting. So advanced level on the floor mat, we want really fine details with how to enter, do the cartwheel movement and the finish, ready for their round-offs on the big mat where they'll move into their back handsprings. So, the hurdle step. So now we're wanting that arm swing and hop to move forwards. So it's long and fast. We want that nice deep lunge position. So we can push hard off this leg and kick the back leg high over the top. So you want to see a push here, a kick here. That's what gets the movement initiated. We've got the T-shaped hands, and if you can see the push off the hand, and at the end it's called a snap. We're actually trying to snap the chest up. So we're using that push off the hand to get that snap. So it's not a slow movement. We don't want feet down, hands up. As the feet are moving down, we want the chest and the hands to push up. So it is a snap up. And what a snap would look like. Like this. Strong arch in the back, and it's a kick. Kick of the legs down, push off the hands, thrust of the chest up. Okay, so that's the three movements really for advanced level round-offs on the mat. The position we want them coming out of the round-off or the cartwheel depends on what we're doing afterwards. And I will go into that more on the soft mat, but if we're working back handsprings, we finish on our heels with our shoulders behind us. If we're working into jumps or back saltos, we finish on our toes with our feet behind us. So it is different landing positions out of the round-off, which is what we'll focus on the actual air mat.